friends, Lori here. I'm here to do what I've been loving for the month of March, April, and May. I will admit, the past 3 months have definitely not gone as planned. There's been a lot of stuff that sort of happened that I was not expecting. In addition to going back to work and then having to work from home unexpectedly a couple of weeks, we had a couple of weeks off. I also got my full COVID vaccination, which was really exciting. But it's been a bit of like a weird couple of months. I had to like move out of my bedroom for about a month of that whole thing. I had to redo my whole bedroom because my room flooded. We lost internet for a couple of weeks. So if you've been watching my reading vlogs, you've seen how kind of chaotic everything has been. Um but I did wind up getting some stuff on. I'm really happy that my room is coming together nicely, but it just was not what we were expecting and it kind of jerked everything in. So, room redecorating and decluttering will definitely be a topic later in this video, but I just want to sort of talk about the stuff that I've been engaging in general. But yeah, so let's get into it. So the first category I'm going to sort of talk about is movies. I'm also going to talk a little bit more about movies later because I do want to watch more movies. It just hasn't been happening recently, but it will sort of come into the hobbies I'm hoping to explore in the next couple of months. That's how I'm going to watch my movies. I'll explain it in a little bit. But I was able to watch 3 movies this time period. The first one I picked up was Cherry starring Tom Holland. And was a really hard movie to watch. It was really, really well done. I've never quite seen Tom Holland in this like role before. You know, he's a very, very charming guy. He's funny. You see him as Spider-Man, all these other things. This was definitely not like that movie, but basically follows this young man, and he doesn't even have a name. He's just called Cherry. And I think the reason they did that was just to sort of so that his struggles are seen by so many people in this world. But you kind of follow him as he meets this girl. Then he winds up getting deployed to Iraq. He comes back, deals with drug addiction, and then some other things happen at the tail end of this movie. It was really gut-wrenching to watch. This movie came out right after award season. I would be stunned if he does not get some type of nomination next year because it was so well done. Like, incredibly well done, and it was just great. I loved it. I thought he did a great job. I thought the Russo brothers did a really good job directing him, and it was really impressive. I would say for younger viewers, it does deal with harder topics. I know sometimes my students watch these videos, but it was really good. And as like just teaching acting, it was great. I would definitely recommend it. He's a great actor, and I thought it was really good that he sort of stretched out his wings a little bit and sort of went on a little bit of like an acting adventure. Definitely could tell it was hard for him, but it was really, really well done. I also did watch half of The Impossible again just because I wanted some more Tom Holland content. But that was a movie that I watched in full. And I think I watched it a couple of times. Actually, I think I watched that one twice. The next movie I watched sent me down a rabbit hole into music. And I watched It's All a Little Bit Blurry by Billie Eilish, which is the Billie Eilish documentary that followed her for like 2 to 3 years of her life. And I just find her so fascinating. She's the type of person I would love to get to know because I think she's just great. I also really took a lot and got to listen to her music a lot this past couple of months, but I love that documentary a lot. I thought it was really interesting. You saw her parents a lot, you saw her brother, her writing partner, and I just liked the conversations that they had in that. It was really interesting, and it really made me just want to listen to her music more. But it was quite fun. It was just a fun watch. I mean, it was really informative and entertaining, and it also made me want to listen to her music more. But she's definitely becoming like one of my favorite artists to date, and I'm not upset about that. But I really, really enjoyed the documentary and would definitely recommend it to anyone that likes her even a little bit. I recommended it to my students as well, and some of them seem to really enjoy it. The last movie that I'm going to chat about is Raya and the Last Dragon. I should have unbuttoned my shirt because I'm wearing a tuk-tuk shirt. This movie I watched on my own, and then I did a project with my students about it. So it's just as the new Disney Pixar movie, and it was adorable. It stars Kelly Marie Tran and Aquafina. There's a little tuk tuk guy. It was great. I loved it. The kids really liked it. We did like a week of activities about it. It was great. It's coming to Disney Plus without fee in early June, I think. I think June 1st or in early June. Definitely check it out because it was adorable and I really, really enjoyed it. Those are all the full movies that I watch, but I will chat in a little bit how I hope to watch more movies soon. It will occur, I promise. Next section we're going to talk about is shows that I've binge watched. So binge watch means I pretty much watch them pretty much consecutively. The first one I'm going to talk about was a delightful find, and it's called Secrets of the Zoo on Disney Plus, and it follows like the Disney animals in Animal Kingdom, and it sort of follows them and their keepers. Josh Gad narrates it, and this is when I was doing a lot of like nonfiction reading and journaling. Got a little bit off track of that towards the end of this weird period because I didn't have a desk or anything. My desk is going to be put together tomorrow, I hope. But it was a delight. I actually am going to Disney in December. I'm going to Animal Kingdom, and I'm really excited, but I just liked his voice. He was a very, very relaxing narrator. Really, really fun. I tried to watch a couple of other ones, but that was the one that I just really, really stuck with and really enjoyed. And I just grew to really like all the animals that we met, and I really hope we get a second season because it was just quite fun. I love learning about Disney life. I have a friend that like works at Disney at one of the parks, but it was just really, really fun to just see the animals, and I love videos about animals, so I was really enjoyable. Definitely like a delightful find. I found it on Disney Plus. I would definitely recommend it. It's called Secrets of the Zoo, and Josh Gad narrates it. That was what I was sort of like doing when I was doing my nonfiction reading as sort of like background noise instead of reading my true crime videos, which I fell a little bit off the train, I'll admit, recently because my iPod has been having issues, but hopefully when my iPod no longer has issues, I can go back to watching some less true crime videos. So definitely. And then the next one that was more like watching when I was researching was Waffles and Mochi, which was produced by Higher Ground, which is Michelle Obama's production company. It was for kids, but I just found it a delight. I learned a lot. It was really, really fun. It just follows this little waffle guy, half waffle, half Yeti, and this little thing Mochi. And they just kind of go on food-related adventures. If you have kids, I think that they would love it, but I just really enjoy it. I like Michelle Obama a lot. I like the setup. It was like 8 episodes. Was a delight to watch when I was sort of doing my editing or my studying. So, but those two were just really, really fun. And they were fun background noises. I'm like one of the only people in the world that I need background noise when I work. I blame my college dorm, but that was the 2 shows that I was doing that before I had all my room drama and didn't have a desk. So also another show that I found on Netflix was Country Comfort that starred Katharine McPhee. She's like she was on American Idol back in the day, and I know her from Scorpion most recently, which I'll talk about Scorpion in a little bit. But this was like she's like a country singer, and she winds up becoming a nanny for this family. It was really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. It had like a nanny element. There's found family. There's music involved. Such fun characters. And Leanne Rimes make a cameo. Eddie Ciprian is in it. He's the male lead. It was great. It was like 8 episodes. It put a smile on my face. And I really enjoyed it. It wasn't anything that was like, it was fun. And there was a lot of singing. I like shows that have like a musical component, sort of like Julie and the Phantoms, and I love Katharine McPhee, so I was happy to find another show that she was in. I watched this earlier. I think I watched this in like early March, but it was like 8 episodes, and I hope that it gets a second season. I always say that. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, but I haven't heard anyone really talking about it other than me. But if you want like a fun show sort of like Julie and the Phantoms, a little bit more funny and a little bit more campy, I would check it out. So I lost internet when I was in the middle of watching The Irregulars. So I was like, I got like up to episode 6, and then I lost internet for like 2 weeks. So when internet came back, I was able to finish watching The Irregulars. I have to admit, I adored this show. It was like, it was like sort of like Shadow and Bone, not Shadow and Bone, but it was sort of like Sixth and Crows, like a heist story meets Sherlock Holmes. The cast was great. I love the cast so much. I finished it in like probably more time than I would because I lost my internet connection, but I simply adored the show. I would say I hope it gets a second season, but it already got canceled. I really loved it. It had Sherlock Holmes elements, really fun cast of characters, starred Tom Holland's best friend, Harrison. I just really liked it. I'll be honest. I really enjoyed it. I was upset that it got canceled because I really liked it. But I'm hopeful that the actors will kind of make their way into like other things because I just simply liked the show a lot. It was great. It's definitely my aesthetic, supernatural with like a little bit of Regency time period, which is what I've been reading recently and liking recently. But again, really enjoyed it. We'll definitely check out those actors and more things in the future. And then the last TV show that I binged, like, binged pretty much right after another, was Shadow and Bone. And I finished that relatively recently. That was 8 episodes based on Lee Bardugo's TV book series. I, again, thought it was a great adaptation. Loved the actors. Thought it was a solid. Definitely hope we're going to get a second season because I need to see who they're going to cast as Nikolai. But I really enjoyed it. It was quite like a quick watch and one that I really enjoyed. But again, those were 2 shows that I watched when I really didn't have internet, so I was struggling a little bit, but I hope to make some more TV progress in the next couple of weeks because now that I have consistent access to the internet. So the next section is going to be long-term series that I sort of watched and completed. I was able to watch season 2 of Scorpion. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but when I had no internet, I had so few DVDs because I literally cleared out my whole collection and then I lost the internet. So I have like 5 DVDs that I still have in my house, and the only one that really worked on my DVD player was Scorpion season 2. So that's why I watched Scorpion season 2. But I love a good procedural. I love those characters. It's been a bit of time since I've actually watched that show, so I liked it. Loved Happy and the crew and, Walter and everything. It was great. It's been a bit since I watched that one. But I really liked watching it. And also, I did get my second Moderna shot. I think I got my first one in January, and I got my second shot in like the end of February because that was when we had spring break. So when I got my second shot, I wound up being pretty much down for the count for like a weekend. And I wound up watching more of Big Bang Theory. And I actually, through the course of this time off, I was able to finish the entire series of Big Bang Theory, all 13 seasons, which was great. I really loved it. It's been a bit since I did a rewatch, and I really liked it. I felt so disheartened at the end. I like started rewatching season 1 again, but I didn't wind up finishing because I realized I have more things I can be watching. But I love my rewatch. It was great. It was a delight. I think that that's probably my favorite comedy of all time. Definitely. I would definitely rewatch it again if given a chance and time. But it was a fun rewatch. I definitely used my HBO Go for like 3 months straight just to watch that. But I loved it. I love Leonard and Penny and Sheldon. It was just a great watch. But those are 2 of like the long-term series that I watched. Scorpion was sort of like a surprise edition because I didn't have anything else to watch for a week, but I did get through 1 whole season, so that was pretty exciting. There's like week-to-week shows that have been coming out. Most of them are Disney Plus shows that I actually have caught up on, which I'm actually pretty impressed that I was able to do that. But I was able to complete WandaVision, which I adored. I thought that was such a cool concept, and I loved it. I showed a couple of episodes of that to my kids at school when we were still home. They really enjoyed it. I showed them the behind the scenes stuff. They really liked it. But I thought that was like a really unique show. One that I was not expecting to enjoy so much. But boy, did I ever enjoy it. She gave me a whole new impression, a new love for Wanda and Vision. And I just really liked it. I can't wait to see what they do with these like tie-in series because I think it will be a little bit more successful than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I loved Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Still need to watch the last season. But these shows will have a little bit more cinematic appeal because they'll actually connect directly back to the movies, use characters that we see in the movies, and that's a little bit more enjoyable to me as a TV watcher. I also finished watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which again, I definitely liked Wanda and WandaVision a little bit more, but I really equally did like Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I love the end so much. I won't spoil it, but it was really enjoyable. Quite a bit actually. Like it was refreshing, really fun, dealing with a lot of harder topics. Maybe want to put my fist through a wall a few times, but cast was great, and I love watching them do interviews. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan are awesome, so it was great. I'm excited to see Loki when it comes out and watch the future ones as well. And also, I've been having a lot of internet issues, but I was able to just last night finish Call Me Kat with Maya Bialik in it. That's like a new show that came out this year. It did get renewed for a season 2, and I just really liked it. It was quite fun. It was like a nice comedy, and I don't love comedies as much, but I think that one kind of got my heart because I love Maya Bialik, and Jim Parsons is like the producer, and it was great. I really am happy that I wound up finishing it. We'll definitely be checking out season 2 when it comes back next year. But yeah, those are all like the week-to-week shows that I finished. I fell a little bit farther behind than I would like, and we'll get into those shows next. So due to me losing internet for like a week, I fell much farther behind on my weekly TV shows than I would have liked. I was also farther behind when that started, so that led to this as well, but let's get into it. But I am in the middle of watching Flash. I did watch like 4 to 5 episodes when it did come back. Really liking that season. We're losing some key characters this season, so I'm a little bit bummed about that. And there was some casting changes like at the start of this season. But it's definitely one of my favorite superhero shows to date. I just love that cast a lot. And then I'm also in the middle of watching Legacies, which I also watched the first like 5 to 6 episodes of that. Again, really enjoying that. Walker's Texas Ranger is such a solid cast. I watched about 4 more episodes of that. I wouldn't say I'm caught up on any of these, but I'm more caught up than I was like originally. I'm also in the middle of watching Nancy Drew. Again, I watched about 4 to 5 episodes of that one and caught myself up again. I watched the first half, and now I'm in the middle of the second half of the season. Drama, hilarity, spookiness for sure. But again, I just have to sort of catch myself back up after I catch up on all my YouTube videos that I have not been watching. I'm pretty far behind on my YouTube queue as well, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. I also did watch, I also watched the preview of Superman and Lois, but I haven't actually watched Superman and Lois, which is upsetting because I'm really excited to dive into that show, but the preview seemed really interesting, and I love the 2 actors in that show, so that's going to be a show that I want to tackle soon. And if I run out of time, all the episodes are on HBO Max, and I can watch it for sure, so I'm happy about that. And then a few more shows that I'm in the middle of watching, and these are the ones that I'm like, Mighty Ducks Game Changers is just a delight. I'll be honest. It's on Disney Plus. It's a follow-up to the Mighty Ducks movies that I adored as a kid. There was an episode where the old Ducks came back, made my life. The one thing that would have made it even better was if Joshua Jackson was in that episode, but still loved it. Just a delight, and such a like a heartfelt, emotional read, but just a pure comfort read. It's just a delight. I really liked it. I'm still in the middle of watching it. I don't know how many episodes there is in a season. I think I'm on episode 8 if I wind up watching it tonight, which I should. Silver Springs is another like Disney Plus show that at this point I'm probably like so far behind on, but it was one that I was watching and then I just got a little bit distracted with everything else and then losing the internet. So that's another show that I will add to my queue again and hopefully tackle it soon in the next 2 months is the goal at least. And then I'm also in the middle of watching Nailed It. A new season of Nailed It came out. The Triplet Show, which stars Aiden from the Umbrella Academy, is adorable. And then Good Doctor and Call Your Mother. There are also a couple of shows that came out on Freeform recently that I just haven't started. Superman and Lois I haven't started. Good Trouble came back, which I haven't started. And Cruel Summer also was another one that I haven't started. But I'm definitely intrigued to start it. But yeah, those are all the shows that I'm in the middle of. And also This Is Us, which I learned is we're going to get one more season, then it's going to be done. So I will definitely have to catch up on those shows. But again, hopefully in the next couple of weeks, once I get my YouTube queue down, I can go back to watching TV shows and catch up on those as well. I haven't played my Switch in about two to 3 months because once my room flooded, we haven't connected everything, and then we were going to get a new internet provider, and then that didn't happen, and then we lost internet for a couple of weeks. But before, I was still playing Animal Crossing, still playing Mario World, or with downloaded Mario World, and then I haven't done anything in about 2 months. So I hope I can convince my mom to reset up my Switch so I can download Pokemon Snap. I heard it has a similar aesthetic to Animal Crossing, and get back to my island because my villagers are probably wondering what happened to me. But hopefully soon in the next couple of weeks, if not this weekend, I can get my Switch back because I was really liking playing it, and then my room got flooded and all that other stuff happened. So hopefully I can fix that and get my Switch back soon, but I haven't been playing any Switch because it's not been connected. I've said this before, I'm not the biggest music person, but I will say this year has probably been the biggest music time of my life. Like I downloaded Spotify, and I got like a Spotify membership, which I've never done before. But I started listening to Billie Eilish a lot. I really like her music. I started re-listening to Taylor Swift. I've been like, I picked a good time to kind of follow her because she's kind of re-releasing all her old albums. So I've been kind of like listening to her new stuff. I love Evermore. I haven't actually listened to Folklore all the way through, but the songs I've really liked. And then I was listening to Fearless. Recently that's been like the music I've been listening to, but I've also been listening to a lot of like Disney playlist and a Wicked playlist and a Billie Eilish. So I've been listening to a lot of music and overall really liking it. Definitely want to keep my Spotify membership, but I've, especially recently with like so many issues happening with my iPod, instead of like starting an audiobook or starting like a longer podcast that I knew was going to die, I would just listen to some music until my iPod died. Hopefully that won't be the case too much longer, but that's what I've been doing. But the biggest thing that's happened in the past 2 months has been a massive reorganization of my bedroom. The two nonfiction books that really stood out to me during this time was Marie Kondo's books, The Art of Tidying and The Joy of Tidying. I will admit, I was not planning on doing such a massive unhaul of my bedroom, but things just sort of happened, and I felt like it was probably a good time to do it. So as I was sort of organizing and decluttering and get rid of my clothes and all this stuff, I kind of realized that I had not scrapbooked since I got hired at IS10, which at this point is going to be about 3 years. I've done a little bit of scrapbooking, but nothing to the extreme that I've used to do. So I sort of really like sat myself down and said, look, do you want a scrapbook or do you want to get rid of all your stuff? And I decided I do want a scrapbook. So I sort of am looking into getting a new table because my table is very, very wobbly. I blame remote learning because I was sitting at it a lot. I'm also changed around the whole configuration of my bedroom, got a new scrapbook cart, took out all my machines, bought a new machine. So I hope in the next like 2 to 3 weeks, once my table is in, I can start to craft again. And that's sort of going along with when I'm going to watch movies, because that's what I used to do. I used to pick like a couple of movies, and I would just pick one movie every day, and I would just scrapbook along with the movie, and then that would give me like 2 hours to scrapbook, because I'm someone that needs to be like have something to do with my hands. So normally I would like read, but that doesn't work in movies because there's no like commercial breaks. In a TV show, I could sort of make a commercial break, or I can just watch it on like a streaming service like Hulu or, like the website that they have, and there's always commercial breaks. But I can't do that on a movie. I guess I could, but it would just be a little more challenging. So yeah, so that's sort of where we are. Again, my room is not at all organized yet. It's in the process of being organized, but it's not where I want it to be. But there will be a reading vlog and an organization vlog coming up, and also a full book collection video. I'll do that for you guys as well. But it's been a bit of a weird couple of months. Nothing awful, just weird. But yeah, that's sort of all the stuff that has been capturing me in an entertainment way. Let me know what some are the highlights for you, and I'll talk to you guys soon for my next video. Bye, friends.